people ask me why I'm interested in these topics, how I got into them, I actually start back when I was a little kid. There were two topics that essentially fascinated me. One was all the little toys, whether it was model airplanes, tanks, my dad's medals. Basically, I was fascinated by current events, history, and war. I was one of those kids that, Legoland was always being attacked by someone. The other half of it was science fiction. I had my Star Wars bed sheets and the like. Now, obviously, I've grown up since then, but those strands of both the issues of war, which I would argue there's nothing more important in terms of political questions, governmental questions. There is no topic that matters more in terms of the consequences, in terms of the weighty decisions that we have to make. And at the same time, the cross with science fiction that we've seen again and again and again, where things that were once science fiction become reality and are game changers. And that's true whether you're talking about flying machines or underwater boats or what H.G. Wells called the atomic bomb that then became real. These are all game changing things that seem like they're out of science fiction that are now mattering in our real world today and in our real wars, and we better need to understand them. I both carry out my own research and writing on topics that range from private militaries to robotics, as well as work with a team on issues that range from cybersecurity to the intelligence community. And as part of that, then I'm often invited to help advise folks who are working on these issues more directly. And what's fascinating is it goes in two directions. Sometimes it's governmental agencies like the Pentagon or the FBI, and other times it's the entertainment world who also find issues of robotics or cyber or mercenaries or whatever interesting for their own purposes. What comes out of that is they're often asking the same questions. So, for example, I worked on the Call of Duty series. In the last game, we were trying to wrestle with what would the world of 2025 look like and what would the battles be like in that space, because they wanted to they wanted to have something realistic. And what kind of technology would be used? What would be the key drivers of conflict? These were the kind of questions that they were asking, which actually were the exact same question that the Pentagon needs to figure out, so you can see the crossover between the two. Over the last 40 years, we've seen play out in information technology, but it's happened in a lot of other areas as well, this exponential growth in the power and capacity of our systems. So, the metaphor I think of this is a Hallmark greeting card. If you open up one of those and it plays a little song, it has more computing power than the entire U.S. Army had when my father served in it. That one single card, which we don't cherish it. We toss it away after the holidays. Well, if Moore's Law, this is an indicator of this growth, if it holds true over the next 25 years, our computing power, our technologies will be literally 1 billion times more powerful than today. And as it's getting more and more advanced, more and more powerful, it's also becoming easier to use, which means it has lower barriers to entry. We'll apply this over to war. We're seeing the same things. So with drones, for example, you once had to be a pilot to fly them remotely. You still had to be trained in pilot skills, to now you can fly them with an iPhone app. And that means they're not only sort of proliferating in their uses, but also proliferating in their users. More and more people using them for more and more roles, both positive and unfortunately negative.